Now, the first thing we need to talk about is the CAPWAP discovery process. Remember, the CAPWAP is the tunnel that's created between the access point itself and our wireless LAN controller. Our wireless LAN controller sits over here. And then we have this tunnel that's created. And in here can be all sorts of switches and different pieces of our infrastructure, that exist. Different pieces of our infrastructure that exist. That was the wrong color. So what this allows us to do is have direct contact with our wireless LAN controller. And in order to do this, we have to find the wireless LAN controller in the first place, don't we? So we can't just jump to knowing where the wireless LAN controller is in our environment. So we don't start off with our CAPWAP connection, do we? We start off simply by joining the network. And when we join the network, what we do is the AP issues a DHCP discovery. It tries to obtain an address. So it is looking for our DHCP server. So if I have a server up here that's acting as my DHCP server, I'm just going to put a D on that. And then it's going to deliver our IP address. And let's say it gives us 192.168.124. Let's just say that's what's given to us. The wireless VLAN is obviously 192.168.1. It's a /24 network, and our IP address happens to be 24. Well, that's great. Now I have an IP address. Now I can communicate on that particular network. But that's not all I can do. The AP has to try and find the wireless LAN controller, doesn't it? Through that wireless LAN controller discovery process. Now, it can do this in many ways. First off, it can try a CAPWAP discovery broadcast on the local subnet. So where I'm going to send out a ping. Where is the wireless LAN controller? I need to form a CAPWAP tunnel. Wireless LAN controller responds back and says, here I am. And then through an exchange, the tunnel is formed. How else could I have this information? Well, I could have a locally stored IP address from a prior successful join process. So maybe I took this wireless access point out of service for a little bit, and then I bring it back in. Well, it would know the IP address of the wireless LAN controller as long as it hasn't changed. Another way we could do this is through DHC option number 43. Now, option number 43 allows us to put in information like that. Here is the information for our CAPWAP discovery process. This is the IP address for our wireless LAN controller. So when DHCP delivers the IP address, it would also say, oh, and hey, 1.128, that's your wireless LAN controller. So it can be delivered through DHCP. And then last but not least, it can also be done through a DNS resolution of the Cisco CAPWAP controller. So many different ways we can get the CAPWAP discovery done. We can find the other end where that wireless LAN controller is on our network.